based on whether we like a leader or whether we do not like a leader, whether a leader is handsome or is not handsome, and those kind of things. We are professional people. We're supposed to be educated people, and I'm saying our discussion, our argument should be at a certain level, and that is exactly one of the things that our rally is supposed to promote. That public officers should be discussed at a certain level. And this thing about parties and politics, yes, Matt, it is a fact that people will not get involved because of their party. That has to change. People have to understand that government comes, government goes. At the end of the day, the issues remain, and unless we do something about it, it means that we're going to be affected in an adverse way. And not only those of us who are here now, but our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. So we have to look at the issues from a very mature position. And it is not just salary negotiation. We don't want people to understand or to get the impression that all we're going to talk about at the rally is salary negotiation.
But you would understand, Mr. Leighton, this is very important for many Dominicans at this time, given the state of the economy.
Matt, as I said, that is why the whole thing is called negotiations. And when we really get deep into the negotiations, all arguments will be brought forward, the government's as well as ours. The union will accept whatever it has to accept after we have had general consensus from our membership.
But are you standing with the other unions? We're talking about the police there and the Dominica Teachers Association, who've clearly said we're not accepting 000. And this is what government is offering at this time, a wage freeze.
Matt, the union has made it clear that while we are not negotiating, and we're not going to get into details through the media, that my union's position is that we will not accept a wage freeze for the 3 years. So anybody, any right-thinking Dominican, or any Dominican who think that the union is going to accept a wage freeze for the 3 years, I am saying that you are deceiving yourself. There is no way that the Dominican Public Service Union, like the Police Welfare Association, that we are going to accept a wage freeze for 3 years. That is out of the book. We are not prepared, and we will not, I repeat, we will not advise our members to accept a wage freeze, because we are not going to accept a wage freeze, period. As to what we will accept, that is what negotiation is all about.
So you will wait until you talk to the membership on Thursday?
Exactly.
All right, Mr. Leighton, thank you very much. And of course, we heard from Celia Nicola. She spoke to DBS News sometime last week.
We had the CARICAD and the KPMG classification review. That was done. The Dominica Association of Teachers, we have always been asking for those recommendations to be implemented, even if those recommendations cannot be implemented en masse. But if we had started from 2014, 2015, we would have gone a long way. The new skills which the CARICAD and the KPMG have put in place for the teaching profession, they are very, I must say, encouraging to the teaching profession. The salary scales have moved up, and they have moved up in certain areas more than even whatever percentage we could ever think of asking for. And this was our position. If all of the recommendations could not have been met, because naturally we are quite aware this country has economic setbacks, so we are very cognizant of that. But what we are very much concerned about, if consultants have come and they have made their recommendations, they should at least be given some consideration, because that is money wasted. But it is clear that the Dominica Association of Teachers is not accepting a wage freeze. We have worked, and we are working. We just broke record last week that our students went to St. Lucia and they won the debating. The Minister of Education himself has been lauding the teachers. So if the teachers are working, honey sweetens labor.
Okay, let's listen again. That was Celia Nicholas being very adamant that they will not accept it. Coming back after this again.
We had the CARICAD and the KPMG classification review. That was done. the Dominican Association of Teachers, we have always been asking for those recommendations to be implemented, even if those recommendations cannot be implemented en masse. But if we had started from 2014, 2015, we would have gone a long way. The new skills which the CARICAD and the KPMG have put in place for the teaching profession, they are very, I must say, encouraging to the teaching profession. The salary scales have moved up, and they have moved up in certain areas more than even whatever percentage we could ever think of asking for. And this was our position. If all of the recommendations could not have been met, because naturally we are quite aware this country has economic setbacks, so we are very cognizant of that. But what we are very much concerned about, if consultants have come and they have made their recommendations, they should at least be given some consideration, because that is money wasted. But it is clear that the Dominican Association of Teachers is not accepting a wage freeze. We have worked, and we are working. We just broke a record last week that our students went to St. Lucia and they won the debate. The Minister of Education himself has been lauding the teachers. So if the teachers are working, honey sweetens labor.
And the police basically saying the same, that they are not accepting 000.
We were disappointed and dissatisfied at the government's proposal. The government yesterday proposed a wage freeze for the triennium. We were not expecting that. We were very surprised at the request or the proposal by the government. And we are going back to our membership on Friday to discuss the government's proposal and to discuss the way forward. But I must tell you that we were extremely, and we are extremely disappointed. We know that police officers of late, police officers are very committed, very hardworking, very dedicated, and we continue to be, and we will continue to be. However, we are expecting something better from the government. We have to meet them again on the 21st of March, and we expect that the wage freeze that they're asking for will be changed by then, and they'll offer something similar to what we have asked for. We remain at 15%. We are not moving. Our proposal is 15%, and for now, we are standing our ground. We are not moving.
Okay, let's go back to the telephone there. 8:48 in the morning. Hello, talk to me.
Good morning, Matt.
Morning, sir.
Matt, with respect to the salary increases and public servants, I mean, obviously they are hardworking public servants, and an increase is justified with respect to the work performances of these public servants. Knowing that the government always say they don't have, but yet they will go in all villages and say, look at me and look at this. You cannot say on one hand you don't have money, and on the other hand you're giving it out. But Matt, I have something to say with respect to the government strategy. I mean, it has happened under our government, but more so under this government, where you have people taking early retirement, and then they get in a big contract, and they get an increase in salary. So that's what they're concerned about. The surrogates get an increase of salary. So they create jobs for them after they have taken early retirement. So they don't concern about...
But why would government say that they can't pay? And in recent times, a few years ago, they took 53%.
Well, exactly, and that is rare too. I think the pressure should have been applied, because the point is, you cannot tell me you give yourself 50%, yes, parliamentarians. At that time, the union at the time should seek to negotiate tightly and get a reward for that as well. But importantly, Matt, what the discrepancy in the system is that, remember, Matt, the people who do the government books are the very public servants, but these people are in the management part, and they are not unionized. I cannot understand how it is for the benefit of the public service, which they work for, which they fix government books, because they have the data on revenue and expenditure. And they will come and they will tell the union, way government will say we cannot pay based on you can see our books. But remember, top civil servants who are not unionized or who are in management, they are the ones who do the books, Matt. So how it is that they could be against themselves? The point is, I mean, maybe we're going to get in a different class of salary. They don't care. And Matt, with that system again, I still believe with all the effort Mr. Litton is making, you will find that there are workers who are not justified for an increase. They just will, because when they negotiate across the board, you get an increase. So lazy people and productive people get an increase. So that again to me, there's a loophole. They must look into that. But really and truly, with all what is going on, with how government say they have money and they're doing this, they're doing that, there should be an increase. But there are certain things that they should go back and do. And I will urge the union, when they do in their vetting of government expenditure and revenue, they must seek the expertise of people who know about the finances. Because the government is capable of hiding things for them not to see. Because all they can do is present a deficit book, and that is it. But if you get people who are trained and know what they're doing, then they can scrutinize the books well and then come out and say, look.
But from your own observation, do you really think that government can afford to give that increase?
They can pay. And you know what? One of the things that we have said, and I've heard the leader of the opposition say that before, one of the areas I think the government should really stick to do is to reduce on wastage. And we have seen a lot of wastage. So therefore, you can pass on that box. But somebody has made an important point. Someone made an important point this morning. How sustainable is it? And that is very important as well. Because yes, you get an increase now across the board. But is it sustainable? Because the kind of revenue generating, is it sustainable to pay every time?
But somebody's making a very important point. During the last election, the opposition leader, Lennox Linton, promised public officers a raise as soon as he gets into office. Then the Prime Minister ran, and he promised them double what Lennox proposed. And look at where we are this time. Somebody says those Muto Batali votes 000, scared have to whatever. So you see, politics and elections forced the Prime Minister to promise. And where is that promise at this time?
But I think that's a correction. I think what the leader of the opposition at the time was promising is what was due to the public servant.
But I'm saying he promised them the raise. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, right. Well, yes. And the point is the leader of the opposition justified that he had a plan that was able to generate the kind of revenue and including reducing wastage so that money could be passed on. Again, the government come with their own flamboyant kind of style of governance. I'm going to pay you double, but have not able to justify it. But the leader of the opposition at least had a plan with how he's going to approach meeting the commitment. So at the end of the day, is what you do, is how you govern, but we are saying no, that the public service and the public service, they deserve an increase because what we have seen going on with respect to mashing up a bridge, Matt, the government mashed up a bridge that was not damaged by Erica. You mashing up a bridge to make a bridge. That means you have money. Pay up.
Thank you very much. Hello, it's 8:53. We continue with the discussions there. Hello.
I say praises, thanks, blessings, and glory to all those with humanity. Mr. Peltier, blessings to your family.
Hello.
Blessings to you, King.
Blessings to you too.
Matt, there is a very thin line between bravery and stupidity. So one can be mistaken for the other. But Matt, that you should not shy away from being courageous, particularly when it is justified for action, where action is justified, Matt. Where justice is concerned, you cannot be a coward, Matt. And I have listened to other unions accusing the DPSU of poaching, Matt, to steal their members, to gain in their members, Matt. And Matt, there is not that amalgam, that mix, that coming together, Matt, of this union for a common objective. They're allowing politicians to divide them and rule them. And they're overly cautious, like they're walking on eggshells. That is what is happening in Dominica. And the partisan politics, where they can affiliate the DPSU with UWP, and they themselves can be affiliated to Labour Party. And that is the madness that is happening. And these politicians are cleverly picking the people and put in strategic locations to maintain.
So you're saying the politicians are killing the union?
Yes, they have people in strategic locations, even within the union, members of the union, to see how foolish that is, and to see how docile Dominicans are, easily led, easily managed, easily folded. That's what they are. So Skerritt just taking, not in football, you was a footballer. Matt, I once was. You know when you see a Nana do, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, you just beating easy with no effort at all. And that is what is happening to Dominican. Skerritt is just beating them, dribbling through them, and we just there playing it cautious. Oh, we do not want to ruffle feathers or muddy waters and fool around. And these guys are getting rich, Matt, and we are getting poorer, the public servants. And as Soso just said, Mr. Linton was specifically pointing out wastage, where he could reduce that and use that money to give the civil servants a raise. But Roosevelt Skerritt now, as he came and he said that you double it, and I can clearly remember it, you reminding us, Matt, now you're hearing about millions and millions, which they know the source of funds is not sustainable because, look, it is facing some serious oppositions, and they know all the diplomatic passports and all the rapid accumulation of wealth, and a lot of things are being investigated and questioned. So they know. So he's been very cautious not to give it because he knows he will not be able to sustain it. And I am saying, if you have money sharing all over the damn place, even if it is not sustainable, do it, because guess what? Use the magician, use Houdini. No matter how much you get yourself entangled or ensnared, you have a way of extricating yourselves from all your madness. So give them the raise, and when push comes to shove, you will get money wherever it is. Ophelia Nicholas, that other brother, and Rallis Drummond, all of them come together and show these cluster of criminals all you mean business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's just about 8:57. Hello.
Good morning to you and your listeners.
How are you, sir?
I'm blessed, Matt. Matt, I'm listening to the discussion, and I want to conclude with blessings. In part, in that, I don't think Roosevelt Skerritt and this government do not want to give an increase, But when they look at the reality on the ground and the way in which the monies from the CBI program, which is the heart and soul of how Dominica is surviving now, it is being blocked from each and every angle from the international angle, man. They basically have to pull back in that if they go and make a hula and give even 1%, 1.5%, they might just be able to sustain that for 2-3 months. And it might backfire on them by the 4th or 5th month. So here it is. They would rather press the point of 0, 0, 0 and have our civil servants in a turmoil, as it were, for an increase in their salary, man. And I am saying that with a kind of government like that, what passes for government today in our country, man, it is very sad to see the state at which our unions on the country, in which they have become. Because, Matt, the old saying is still true. Divided you fall, united you stand. And if these unions cannot put their political partisan affiliations apart and stand in solidarity for the common good of their members, then, Matt, it is left to say that this government will just have a field day with the people, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, too. Let's try an overseas line. Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Matt, my contribution here this morning, Matt, is that you may feel a little different about this. But
It's your opinion now?
But I think, Matt, what should happen is that the government should ask all the public offices. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very clear.
Government should ask public services, all the different groups, to take a 5% cut for the next 2 years. Instead of 0.0, let it be a -5 for the next 2 years. Everybody sacrifice 5% for the next 2 years. And the reason why I say that is that because we should blood is short-sighted. When the farmers were suffering, everybody was getting their salary every month. They were happy. Nobody gave 1-2 rats about the farmers. Dominica depends on the farming industry in order to pay workers and in order for it to survive. That's the backbone of Dominica. So you kill the backbone, you rip out the backbone, and now all you on the side now asking for increase. Increase for what? We are producing anything. We're not selling anything. The only thing they're talking about is CBI money. Yes, fine. CBI money should be going further to develop our roads, develop our healthcare system, our schools. You know, if we had to really stand up at the time and say, no. Farmers not going down like this. Farmers need incentives. Farmers need roads. Farmers need markets. Because in the long run, we're going to need that money. But everybody was satisfied. They get the money to go at their home. So I agree to scare it. 0, 0, 0, or better yet, -5, -5 for the next 3 years. No, that's my contribution.
All right, thank you very much. It's just your opinion, my friend. And of course, we accept all opinions. They say all views will contend. This guy is saying, you know, don't give anything. The farmers suffered, and farming is the backbone of the economy. Nobody did anything for the farmers. So why do you think that the public officers should get an increase? 901, talk to me.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning to you.
All the rejected candidates, all Scarrett have to do is to take away the job from them, you know. And the other thing, they are getting more money than those who were elected. So all he has to do is to remove all these people, or some of them he having.
You're saying let them make the sacrifices.
Exactly. And give the people what they want. Because I remember in the early 90s, salaries were cut the civil servants by 5%. When UWP had introduced 5% VAT, they criticized. Then they put 7%. Next thing they said they were going to reimburse. I retired without getting my reimbursement, and they never reimburse. Instead of decreasing, is increasing. So all he has to do is to lay off all these people, the rejected candidates he has in his cabinet, or lower their salary instead of you know. So I'm watching to see what the Public Service Union going to do and what these unions going to do. It's time that they put their foot down and fight for what they want. Good morning, man.
Well, let's see if they will put their foot down. They've been talking for some time now. Somebody says, now the question of whether or not the government can sustain the salary increases is a very valid question. But the government seems to be sustaining the wasteful spending for many years. We have seen the wanton addition out of funds throughout villages, not counting millions and billions in the election, even village council elections. Let's take more phone calls. 9:03 in the morning. Are you there, caller? Caller, are you there?
Yes. Good morning to you, Matt.
Uh-huh.
Matt, you know what I've seen in the 2014 elections? I think the civil servants have a right to receive that 0%. Hear what happened in 2014. I watched a prime minister in 2014 negotiating for workers. That was the work of the union, not a prime minister, to tell public servants, put me back in power, and when I get in, I'll give an increase. Utter rubbish. Good morning and thank you.
Thank you. Well, you heard the promises. I was not the only one. Hello, talk to me.
Yeah, Matt, you know, as far as I'm looking at it, you know, the country is looking for Mr. to resign, you know. And now we are looking for compromise on all other sides. I mean, this is a big joke, you know. This prime minister, man, is this serious? Telling people no percent for 3 years, and whereas now all items in all areas being sold are going up. I mean, let us get things straight, man. I personally feel Mr. should retire right now. He promised to double the percentage that the workers offered, and nothing. And instead of putting something on it, he's saying nothing for 3 years. I mean, this is serious business. Are we allowing Mr. to continue administering this country? And Mr. taking bags of money and share wherever he wants to share. He has NEP as what you call a waste of time in this country, taking millions of dollars per year and all other means. And I even believe, some of the union fellas getting money on a periodic basis from the Prime Minister. I believe that. Because you cannot tell me, man, you have unions in Dominica and it's only the public service union alone that's standing. I'm even surprised the teachers union spoke a word these days. Because, I mean, it was so glaring that she had to say something too. Man, I tell you, this country, Mr. should just resign, and that is what I'm asking for. He go and consult with children on the north, telling children about his plan for vehicles. And the children have, right? They don't have the edge to drive yet. What? Mr. is getting mad, but not on my account,
All right, 9:06 is the morning drive. 9:06. We coming back, Dominica, after
right
this.
On cue, right on cue. Right on cue.
Hey, check this out. This is Wayne Wonder. It's all about Matt in the morning on Q95 FM. No letting go, no holding back. I'm listening to Matt in the morning. This is Wayne Wonder. Just keep it locked to Matt in the mornings on Q95 FM. Matt in the morning, this is Wayne Wonder, and this one is a bombshell. Let's keep it locked. Q95 FM. Feet are well equipped and play the latest. He's dangerous. Yo, this is Wayne Wonder. Let's keep it locked to Matt in the morning on Q95 FM.
Talk has never been better with breaking news.
I challenge Ron Green to a live televised debate on the economic future of Dominica.
Questions.
Evaluate the practicality, evaluate the likely cost, and determine whether they're practical and realistic in today's Dominica.
So there's no reluctance on your part, knowing that you are fighting the cause of this public office?
Well, the question of reluctance doesn't arise. We're trying, Matt, to make this thing look sinister.
No, we're asking questions, Mr. Savage.
Moments of joy. Moments of sadness.
Very hurtful, it's very sad.
And commitment.
I will certainly come on your program, my brother. Put the questions and I always answer the questions, my brother.
Your mornings will never be the same again. Matt on Q.
With breaking news.
Earl Williams, my friend, is in New York. I spoke to him last night. I was telling people of Salisbury what Earl Williams told me tonight and last night.
That is not true. I did not speak to the Prime Minister over the weekend.
When was the last time you spoke to the Prime Minister?
Maybe 6 months ago.
Questions.
Evaluate the practicality, evaluate the likely cost, and determine whether they're practical and realistic in today's Dominica.
So there's no reluctance on your part, knowing that you are fighting the cause of this public office?
Well, the question of reluctance doesn't arise. We're trying, Matt, to make this thing look sinister.
No, we're asking questions, Mr. Savage.
You see that business about Mr. Skerritt and his wealth?
Moments of joy. Moments of sadness.
Very hurtful, it's very sad.
And commitment.
I will certainly come on your program, my brother. Put the questions and I always answer the questions, my brother.
Your mornings will never be the same again. Matt on Q.
coming back. It's 9:10. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I heard a caller earlier speak about the fact that the people negotiating basically against themselves when they offer 000. But Matt, it is a professional thing. You know, if you have a job to do, you have a job to do, and you do it professionally, you know. And they cannot go and say, they give 50, and next thing everybody has to go home because there's no money to pay. It's a professional thing, you know, and they will offer 000. Anytime they will offer 000, and it's just the skills of the union and the support of the members behind the union that will make them get something more than 000. The next thing they're going to come up with is 101. Okay, man? That's what's going to happen next.
Okay. We'll watch. 9:11. Are you there? Let's take another phone call. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Mark.
Yes, sir.
And how are you?
Good, sir.
Well, Mr. Mark, when you have to look under consideration, I don't expect the government to say more because we are too slack. He said we are too free. Mr. Mark, today, you know the date of today? Today is the 14th. And I make sure you know that, of March. And make sure public workers, they lay off. They don't even pay their social security. And look today in Portsmouth collecting, and if you default, what about those men? They lay off. I want Mr. Later, the first thing on his demonstration first day, bring up those people the government owing court. And right now, not even their social security. So I hope those that getting paid still, remember the public works government not yet pay them. They in court and they don't even pay their social security. If you make sure you delinquent, you have a extra fee to pay. Government supposed to double those people money because government too wicked. You cannot tell me you have money. You up to Friday you are playing, giving $1 million promises, and you make sure the public works, it is just coming. They don't see right now government cannot handle that situation. Dominican, we on the verge, the last minute. Well, if you all you don't want to serve all yourself, that is all left to all you. Because I myself don't working on nothing again. I only working because I know where I'm heading to. But what about all you? Look after all your affairs. It is high time now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Man, I just did a research. We have the lowest wage out of the Eastern Caribbean currency islands in the Caribbean. See why? Hence, people go to neighboring islands to do the same job. 9:13. Hello. I'm here, sir.
My brethren, our prejudices and our hatred for each other, particularly when we perceive you are of no consequence. Edison James, Mount David was his administration that was, or the UWP or Lennox Linton and them that was in power. Dominica would be on fire, you know. Because there's a certain class of people in Dominica who think that these people are nobodies. And that's how I refer to them as they would refer to them as these people. The Edison James, the Lennox Lintons, and these people, who are they? They are nobody. And they thought they would have had a robot there with his remote. And he's the appliance, that is Roosevelt Skerritt. But he mashed up the remote. He might have remained their appliance, but they haven't got the remote to him, you know. And he's embarrassing them. And they're so embarrassed, my brother. They care not to say not one word. And watching that madman run the country down to hell. And they say nothing. If it was some other party that did, the churches would have come together, collaborated and conspire with government to take down that administration for less, much less than what Roosevelt Skerrit is doing to Dominica, that administration. So what that is killing us, Matt, is our prejudices, our preferences, our hatred, my brother, towards each other. Foreigners are more welcome in Dominica than Dominicans that were born and bred in Dominica. Even the foreign immigrants who establish in Dominica can have that level of hatred. But, Matt, you there with me?
I'm there.
Matt, I am not deviating. I'm there with you. Last night on Spotlight, Sadina Frampton and Kimo Astafans was there. And I call and ask two questions. One having to do with cameras in the metropolitan countries. You haven't got privacy because everywhere you go, somebody's watching you. Cameras are installed secretly all over the place. So I asked the brother about that. He said there is no privacy. Once you're in a public space, there is no privacy. So I asked him, brother, do not talk on the behalf of the family, but what is your opinion with Tony Astofan's manner in which you are disrespecting and denigrating people when your family is known for employment, investment, and all of that? Tony seems out of whack. The brother refused to answer me, Matt.
That's a different conversation, my brother. We'll talk about that another time. 9:16. Maybe we'll ask him why sometime. Hello.
Yeah, my brother.
Are you there?
I just want to call on the Patriots. We've been complaining and we complain about Skerrit. But at one point, the complaining is part of the problem. And I think we are at that juncture, So I want to call the Patriots. Part of the problem with the unions is fear. It's fear and being afraid. We had people from the ministry texting people all the way in foreign on the day of that last protest, thanking people for coming out because they themselves want to be out there, but they're scared of their jobs. So I want to ask the Patriots who want Q and the Q family to please go on out and support the union on Thursday night. Find yourself in the yard, lend some support, because it is that by working together, by coalescing, that people will stop being afraid, because it's not people do not want to change what is going on in Dominica. We are convinced that the sentiment is real in spite of all these monies. People are just scared. And so go on out and find yourself. They don't stay home and listen on Q. Go to that yard and lend some support to the union. Please, let us try to build this thing instead of just complaining.
Caller, thank you very much. We're going to take a break and then we'll come back to talk to you.
I'll take a small.
XL, that's the size for me. Flow's new prepaid combo plans have the most choice and value for everyone. Save up to 90% by combining your talk, text, and data into one simple plan. And with options starting at just $15.99, it's easy to say it, type it, or share it. A whole lot more for a whole lot less. Dial #129# now to activate. The bigger you go, the bigger you save with Flow's new prepaid combo plans. This is how we flow.
Public and non-public officers, this is the call to join the DPSU at the Solidarity Rally on March 16. National issues of the day: agriculture, fisheries, unemployment, salary increase proposals. This is the call. Workers arise, defend your rights.
Now is the time.
Rally with the Dominica Public Service Union.
We shall overcome.
Are you prepared to accept government's offer for the next 3 years, 2015 to 2018? They're offering 000. Join the DPSU at the Solidarity Rally on Thursday, March 16th, 2017 from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 at the DPSU grounds. Freedom, Democracy Union, DPSU, one union. What hurts one, hurts all.
Talk has never been better with breaking news.
I challenge Ron Green to a live televised debate on the economic future of Dominica.
Questions.
Evaluate the practicality. Evaluate the likely cost and determine whether they're practical and realistic in today's Dominica.
So there's no reluctance on your part, knowing that you are fighting the cause of this public office?
Well, the question of reluctance doesn't arise. We're trying, Matt, to make this thing look sinister.
No, we're asking questions, Mr. Savage.
Moments of joy. Moments of sadness.
Very hurtful. It's very sad.
And commitment.
I will certainly come on your program, my brother. Put the questions and I always answer the questions, my brother.
Your mornings will never be the same again. Matt on Q.
public and non-public officers, this is the call to join the DPSU at the Solidarity Rally on March 16. National issues of the day: agriculture, fisheries, unemployment, salary increase proposals. This is the call. Workers arise, defend your rights.
Now is the time.
Rally with the Dominica Public Service Union.
We shall overcome.
Are you prepared to accept government's offer for the next 3 years, 2015 to 2018? They're offering 000. Join the DPSU at the Solidarity Rally on Thursday, March 16th, 2017 from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 at the DPSU grounds. Freedom, Democracy Union, DPSU, one union. What hurts one, hurts all. Playing this one for the members of the Lucas Band who seem to be in a very sad mood this morning. Lost a member of the band, Kurt Hector, whose news, the news of his death came as a shock this morning to the community of Trafalgar. You shall overcome too. We'll be talking to the farmers in a few minutes. course,
Let us work and come together. Let us help to build the broken. Come ye forward, sons and daughters. Let's all rebuild again. We shall
we have the sad news this morning. Members of the Lucas Band there. 33-year-old Kurt Hector, the village of Trafalgar. Band leader there, Ronald Charles, is on the line with me this morning. Good morning, Ronald.
Good morning, Matt, and good morning to all of your listeners, and good morning by extension to the people of the world.
Ronald, the sad news this morning, of course, just yesterday we spoke about raising some funds on the weekend. There, some fundraising activity was planned. The news came to you as a shock this morning, members of your band?
Definitely, Matt, and as I speak here, one would realize that 1 minute, you see somebody, the next minute they're gone. And a lot of the band members, and all of the band members, including the band members by extension, because you would realize that Ayub Moranzi, who is the founding member of the Lucas Band, is also a family member of Kurt, and it's also very close to Kurt. So the news have, it is really sad for all of us. But sometimes even during those times, we have to learn to use it as a form of reflection, use it as a form of, just to understand that life is not ours, and whenever the Creator decided to take it away, that's what He does.
But tell us, his news of his death came as a shock. Was he ailing for some time?
Well, the thing is, my information is that, and what I do know is that our brother has been in the hospital for a few weeks, anything over 5 to 6 weeks, and he has been ill for a while. My information is that, and that is what I do know, is that I know that they were waiting for some results, but I have not yet received any further information from that last information that I received, and that is the situation we are faced with, basically. Because I would not be able to say much on the issue, but for now, that is what I know.
Well, tell us, what kind of person was Kurt?
Well, Kurt, that is something that a lot of people of Trafalgar will endorse. Kurt has always been and always been a people's person. And Kurt is one of the members of the band that I could leave anytime and say to Kurt, well, we'll be doing X, Y, and Z this place, and I would like you to just take charge of it because I'm a little bit busy, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And you can bet your bottom dollar that I would receive regular reports. And he's just really, really a nice person. And I know that there are other persons who are very, very close to Kurt, including Mr. Chris, who he worked with. And I know for sure that people will tell you that Kurt is a very helpful fellow. He's very focused, and he was very focused on getting his things done. He worked hard, because you do know that he worked at Auto Trade for a very long time. I remember that we worked together at Auto Trade. So he's a community man, and he was very, very highly spirited and very liked by the village. I don't think nobody could have an objection to my comments in terms of Kurt being very liked and being, a man that, gets things done, and a very, very nice person.
So certainly he will be missed.
Definitely, Matt, he'll be missed, and I don't know. As we speak, I'm still at home. It's very, very difficult for me, but I guess, the strength of the divine intervention will give me the necessary encouragement to do what I have to do in the circumstances. But another important thing that I must say is that, and it's almost like a message to a lot of us, that we have to, embrace each other. We have to remain close as a community. We have to learn to forgive. We have to learn to embrace, because life is not ours. Life will never be ours. And even by extension, although, let me just take the opportunity to express sympathies to the family, of Kurt. And I know that he has a son who is in Barbados, 15 years of age approximately, thereabout. And I know he's going to miss his dad. But, we have to just be strong as a people. And it is sad, but we have to reflect on a lot of things that are happening and try and bring some peace and tranquility, some embracement, some form of love and neighborhood watch to all the issues that we're encountering, and not just the passing of someone, but to love each other. I think that is a message I would like to spread out to the world, that sometimes we really have to embrace your brother, and that's all I'll say for now.
All right, I know. Again, our deepest sympathies to the family and the members of your band. Ronald Charles will be talking again sometime soon. Thank you. It was your daughter who sang recently. Let's just rise to the top. I think that's what he wanted to do. When we come back, we'll talk to the farmers for a few minutes. Just about 9:37. A few more minutes. We'll talk to the family.
You always want to say, well, look, this is a man of straw. This guy can't even barely feed himself. No point with compensation there. But not all rapists are.
With the presence of more hotel rooms in Dominica, currently and in the very near future. For example, in Portsmouth, you'll have 160 rooms with one hotel, a 5-star. So you have opportunities there for the expansion of the domestic market. There's also a high demand for agricultural produce in many of the countries within the CARICOM. St. Kitts, Anguilla, Antigua, Guadeloupe, Martinique, all of the islands require a high volume of agricultural exports and imports. For the future of agriculture to be sustained, people like myself and yourself as young people must be more actively involved in agriculture. Because our parents who were involved are now 70s, you understand? And they still go to the farms. The question is when they pass on to another life, who's going to replace them? And that's why you see sometimes some farms are abandoned. The father was very hardworking. He built his house on the farm. He bought his vehicle every 5 or 7 years from his farm. He sent his children to school. But none of the children want to go on the farm. So he has 7 acres that are not productive. So we have to ensure we get more young people on the farm. What we're seeking to do in the government is to set the infrastructure. This is why we have the pack houses, where the farmers bring their produce. The government buys it. The government packages it. And the government also assists with the export to markets of the agricultural produce. Okay? We have 2 packing houses, one in Roseau, one in Portsmouth. We're also providing direct financial support to farmers with the 10%, with $10 billion at 3% interest with a 6 months grace period. Prior to this facility, we had loans at the Aid Bank where one loan was 0%, another was what they call 50-50, where if the farmer took 30,000, he got 15 free from the government and the other 15 at 2% from the government.
All right, it's just the time. Patrick, it appears that the Prime Minister is showing some new interest in farmers. Good morning. You are the only one here this morning. We'll try to talk to Mr. Louis on the telephone. I know he's not doing too well. We'll try to say good morning to him. And Randy, this one and other farmers.
And
Telemac, good morning to you.
We're saying howdy to all of them, Matt. But given the a little pressure for time, because we have a lot of things to discuss, and like I told you, Matt, agriculture can support or can entertain any topic that you bring in the studio on the Farmer's Cry. So I'm not perturbed at that. Now Mr. Skerrit is again making some terrible announcements, Matt.
You say terrible?
Terrible announcements, Matt. He's been making that from the beginning, Matt. From the beginning, the man has promised us boats for agriculture. It's not today Skerrit knows that Antigua, Barbados, Martinique, all these people want our produce. And it's not today we've been telling him this thing on Q95, Matt. You see, now everything is broken down, Matt. Everything is breaking down on Mr. Skerrit. Mr. Skerrit has no choice but to do what he came to do, because everything else that's productive is breaking down around him. Can you imagine, Matt, that Skerrit is telling us in this day and age, and he's telling Q95, agriculture was the one who got the first blow, from Mr. Skerrit. He gave us some blows, he put us on the carpet, Matt. We cannot move. The amount of business plans and suggestions. Mr. Telemac still wanted to grow prawns. Mr. Telemac went in the instigation of some minister to see an area to choose where he can continue growing prawns. When he went and he chose some place in Melville, or they told him, sorry, this is for hotel projects. Not a hotel has come down there since. Not one hotel. In food security, Solpus has been telling the man, you must go back to the soil. Food security, you must take care of food security. Not even that they're taking care of, Matt. So they killed agriculture. Agriculture was the first one, unlike the unions, etc., the public service union. Every union now is crying on Mr. Skerrit, making them cry. No, all these things came after agriculture, Matt. The most productive part of Dominica, agriculture, Mr. Skerrit and his agents make sure, and his cabinet agents make sure they kill that, Matt. There was nothing for productivity, Now, these days, Mr. Skerrit is turning wrong to tell agriculture that had so many so much suggestions.
Opportunities?
So much suggestions we made to him on what can be done about agriculture, Matt. I myself sat down in the studio and I told him, well, since you've killed bananas, because they used to talk as though bananas was agriculture. That was never the case, Matt, in Dominica. Diversification in agriculture was the way farmers were going everywhere. Everywhere along the island. They had grapefruits, they had coconuts, they had oranges, they had tanyas, they had sweet potatoes, apart from the bananas. But they were giving you the impression bananas dead, agriculture dead. No, none of that. We gave you enough suggestions to put you on your feet. I myself stood down here and I told them things have gone so bad that I was proposing some 4 short-term crops, peanuts, corn, soybean, and red beans, so that they could have a quick start, Matt, in not only feeding the people, because all these crops feed the people, and the people could survive and export all around the Caribbean. They want these products.
Well, let's listen to the Prime Minister again.
With the presence of more hotel rooms in Dominica, currently and in the very near future. For example, in Portsmouth, you'll have 160 rooms with one hotel, a 5-star. So you have opportunities there for the expansion of the domestic market. There's also a high demand for agricultural produce in many of the countries within the CARICOM. St. Kitts, Anguilla, Antigua, Guadeloupe, Martinique, all of the islands require a high volume of agricultural exports and imports. For the future of agriculture to be sustained, people like myself and yourself as young people must be more actively involved in agriculture. Because our parents who were involved are now 70s, you understand? And they still go to the farms. The question is when they pass on to another life, who's going to replace them? And that's why you see sometimes some farms are abandoned. The father was very hardworking. He built his house on the farm. He bought his vehicle every 5 or 7 years from his farm. He sent his children to school. But none of the children want to go on the farm. So he has 7 acres that are not productive. So we have to ensure we get more young people on the farm. What we're seeking to do in the government is to set the infrastructure. This is why we have the pack houses, where the farmers bring their produce. The government buys it, the government packages it, and the government also assists with the export to markets of the agricultural produce. Okay? We have 2 packing houses, one in Roseau, one in Portsmouth. We're also providing direct financial support to farmers with the 10%, with $10 billion at 3% interest with a 6 months grace period. Prior to this facility, we had loans at the aid bank where one loan was 0%, another was what they call 50-50, where if the farmer took 30,000, he got 15 free from the government and the other 15 at 2% from the government.
How do we get the young people back on the farms? The Prime Minister obviously have a very serious concern about that. Hello, hold on, Patrick. I'm going to take a phone call. Hello.
Morning, gentlemen.
Yes.
Morning, man. I haven't called your show for a while, but I thought I was angry with you. But, man, you're doing a good work. I keep on saying that, you go through emotions. I go through emotions, and you want to make a point. Anyway, my point is, I just said recently on Thompson Fountain Show concerning boats, we used to have federal maple and federal palm. We didn't have a CARICOM passport. Now that we have a CARICOM passport, I find the Caribbean leaders are idiots, if not our own, because we cannot sustain that by aeroplanes. You cannot even put your carry-on in an aeroplane. And you find older people coming to the Caribbean on tourist ship. Why can't Caribbean people itself travel to Caribbean islands? You go to Trinidad, you bring down some leather, you bring some plantain up. This could sustain Caribbean peoples, but I think we are sleeping all the time. And the other one is an agricultural school. We used to have that in the 70s. So if we're talking about agriculture and you're talking about the kids, you have to train them from a school. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hello, talk to me. I got on the radio this morning. I'll try to bring that for you sometime. That, the Ministry of Agriculture is trying to get young people back into agricultural studies. Some university or college from Trinidad visiting soon to ensure that happens, or to try to make that happen. Hello.
Yes, good morning, Matt, quickly, and good morning to Mr. Deloney.
Uh-huh.
Matt, all you talk the Prime Minister talking about, this here again is a flamboyant kind of style and paying as the government interested. The money talking about that has been in the bank is EU money, and because they have not been getting the results, the EU gives specific ways as to how money should be used. Number 2, He's talking about government buying farmers' produce and selling, marketing for them. That's what DAPEX doing. That's what Thompson and now is doing, selling food to Matnik. So everybody does that. That's not a new thing. I talk about the farmers program. Matt, let me tell you something. The United Workers Party at the time, under Peter Carbon ministry as the Minister for Agriculture, you had a young farmers program, you know. And Matt, it is not about getting young people in agriculture. What you have right now existing, you have a lot of technicians that they have the technical know-how. What you have to do is classify your agriculture with respect to exotics, your root crop, and you put these specialists there to lead, which means that if some of them have lands already, you give them everything they require so that they do not fail. So if their land is too dry, you irrigate it. If their land is too wet, you drain it. Give them proper access, give them the infrastructure, and they lead in production. They will be the teachers of the farmers. And they can, so not necessarily young people. The Ministry of Agriculture has the high set of fellows that are qualified, well qualified, and they can do it. So it's not necessarily young people, but you get these guys to lead in the respective production areas and let farmers learn from them, and then you find market, and then you export. That's how you do things. That's right. If I go to come and lie for people. Well, what new the Prime Minister? What new is doing there? Dexter has been doing that for years. DAPEX has been doing it. Look, Thompson is doing it. So that's nothing new. It's just there. You have to define the wheel. You have to give people. So the technicians now, when you give them everything, they have no reason to say they fail. And those that do not have lands, make lands available to them. And you get things going. That's as simple as that. And you bring back the rural economy. The rural economy will be spinning, money will be flowing, and the farmers will not leave the country area to come and beg in town. Have a good morning.
Have a good morning, too. I'll allow Patrick to of course, make the final comments. Let's take a few phone calls. The Farmers Cry, Q95. Yes, sir.
Clayton Shillingford. Look, I know we've been on this agriculture issue for the longest while.
And we have to keep trying to stay on it.
No, I agree entirely that we have to persist. There is one essential thing that needs to be inserted in all of this, and that is an organized agricultural development plan that will have all of the elements we are discussing: the diversification of agriculture, the production base, where are the markets, the whole area of resources, the question of regulation, and so on. Until or unless we have a roadmap of that sort that involves the farmers, the government, the Dominican private sector, this whole business about shipping and all of that, until we have something that is a working blueprint against which we are going to act, we'll keep on talking and nothing is going to happen. It's a problem. We need a plan, sir. That is what we need right now. And the government has a responsibility to provide the leadership in that particular area. Thank you.
Thank you, too. It's at 9:50. We're taking a few more phone calls. This is the Farmers Cry. Talk to me based on comments made by the Prime Minister. I suspect at the Northeastern Comprehensive School there. He was making a lot of comments there. A lot of comments came from that discussion with students. Hello.
And to the farmers and to the listening public. Good morning. Matt, is this foolishness there that Scary does talk that does make some of us say some crazy things which we don't intend to say when we call the programs, because he's causing some of us to get insane with the foolishness he's talking. Roosevelt Skerrit, no, he is the one who discouraged agriculture in the country. He discouraged the young farmers. Where are the roads? Where is the market? Where is the transportation? He is the one. And while he's talking his foolishness and talk about young people, when they have the fertilizer, they were playing politics with it and say that is to give it to the bigger farmers and to the forget about the small farmer. Who is the small farmer? The small farmer is the young people. When you discourage them and you do not give them the proper necessities, they already don't have anything. When you cripple them and you penalize them before they even start, how do you expect them to make a move? This man is just getting me angry, and it's just the only thing I want to hear the Roosevelt Skerrit say is to pack up and go, To me, that's getting me on my nerves, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's take another phone call. Patrick, I'll come back to you in a minute. Hello.
Yes, hi, Matt. First of all, I just want to offer my condolences
to the family of Hector and band members.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Matt, I haven't called the radio for a while. I just said, you know what, I'm just tired of listening to all this garbage, and I'm not even going to respond to it. But after listening to Garrett, I'm not sure which species of the parrot that speaks in Dominica, but he is sounding like one of them right now. Wasn't it just last week Dr. Fontaine was talking about helping the farmers, and exactly word for word, that's what Scary just repeated. Something is seriously wrong with this man, and I don't want to hear anything about raises or anything. I just want Scary to get out of Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you. 9:53. You mean get out of government, not out of Dominica? Is that what you mean? Hello, talk to me.
Good morning, Matt.
Yes, quickly.
So we didn't ask to fix the feeder road for them to plant.
Mm-hmm.
He sent police with tear gas and gunshot. Now he's talking politicians. He want to serve. So tell me to get out from the office, man, and go.
Hello, talk to me. Nobody you seem to want to listen. Hello.
Morning to your guests and everybody else.
Uh-huh.
I just want to echo the sentiments of everybody else. Scary needs to go, Matt. This man is just, he's gone. He's finished. I mean, can you imagine the man talking about agriculture now? The man he killed. It looks like we're winning, Matt. Because since he's talking about agriculture, obviously the plan that he had is not working. You know, and or he's just speaking out anything from his head. But don't worry about all these projects he's planning to do. We just need him out. He won't have time to put those projects in. When we get in, when the next government get in, I'm sure that we're going to have a decent government to take care of everything that we need in this country.
Colin, thank you very much. Telephone calls are coming in there. Of course, we just heard the Prime Minister's proposals moving forward the agricultural industry. Some people are reacting there. Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Yes.
When I look at it, he's going to talk to children, you know, because he has given up on the adults. It's the adults that have to put him there. And we have been talking all over the weeks about how he has to go and he should go. And that is what I have been hearing all the time. And now to me, when we call us, so it's a compromise we have with the man. This man has to go. And as far as I'm looking at it, man, this man, he has talked about boats, he has talked about all other things before. And this never came through after 13 years and the man coming back and talk his kind of language now.
Good morning. Hello, final call and we'll allow Patrick to wrap it up here. I can tell you this discussion will continue. Hello.
Hey, Matt, morning.
Yes, man.
And good morning to Mr. Deloney.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, honestly speaking, what I'm hearing there doesn't make sense, you know, because I personally know for a fact that the Labour Party government killed agriculture. And I'm saying that because as a young man from Roseau, I remember going to La Plaine with a Shillingford guy on a weekly basis to get agricultural produce such as planting in the La Plaine in the northeast, in the eastern area of the island. Then I remember days when I used to go to the farms in the Vauxhall Kayambuk area on Mr. Daly's farm with his son to cut bananas. Brother, they needed help, they needed hands to work. So all these things that Mr. Skerritt is talking about, these things were happening. There were boats shipping produce day by day. There were little boats running up St. Martin, Guadeloupe, and Antigua on weekends. The little hucksters were doing their thing. This was something consistent. You could see the activity by the WAF on a weekly basis, daily basis, sorry. And today you hear Skerritt coming and talk his nonsense. Matt, Skerritt has to go. Skerritt needs to go. Skerritt needs to get out of there. He doesn't know how to run the country. He has spent most of his time out of Dominica during his tenure, and I think he needs to go. He's only there now because the international people are on his trail, so he's spending a little more time here and coming and talk nonsense now. But he has no idea what's happening on the island of Dominica. He needs to go because agriculture was booming before. The exports were happening. All places like the same Barbados, all those places he's talking about. We used to send produce to these places. Today we cannot do that. It's because of his mismanagement. And in terms of feeder roads, the same roads in the Kayambuk, Vauxhall, all those areas that you could drive to. Right now you cannot drive there. You cannot go in there. As a young boy, I used to race with fellas there with Land Rover Jeeps going to the different gardens. And today you cannot even drive there.
All right. Thank you. Patrick, you have 3 minutes.
Yes.
People seem obviously angry. At least
yes, you have to be angry, Matt, but do not forget how Skerrit killed agriculture, Matt. We forgetting how they killed agriculture. This is why we arguing all this stupidness with Skerrit now. We don't have to argue with you about shipping and about planting and all kind. You refused us, Matt. Look, when you see Dr. Shillingford talked a while ago, but I think he was missing something. He was saying we have to have a plan for agriculture. We had the plan, we had a policy in place. They never utilized the policy, but they kept killing agriculture, and we were unaware that these fellas would go that far. Because, Matt, when they took over the DBMC, what part of the thing that they refused to do was to subsidize the industry, you know. Whereas James used to subsidize DBMC. When Skerrit and them got in, they could not even find boxes to distribute to the farmers. When the farmer asked for 200, 400 boxes, they gave him 100. And that is how the bananas started ripening on the trees, Matt. Fellas like me, don't forget that. We are agriculturists to the bone. And how he kept killing that thing. Louis brought a plan to the government for him to do juicing in Dublin. Matt, they called him up once. That was 1 year. We never got the results of that. They killed it. No more oranges, no more fruits. Again, Louis had a plan where they could restrict some of the parrot damage. They never did a thing, Matt. They're watching the industry go down and down and down. The people in the Caribbean Reserve at the same time, they had a proposal that was funded by Chavez, and they couldn't find 3/4 of the money, Matt, and they came here and they complained. You remember that? All these things, the man was killing the industry, and he was killing all other things. And what do you think he came to? He went to sell passports now. No, that wasn't Mr. Skerrit's idea, Matt. Passports were there to be so long before Skerrit, but we were doing it in a judicious kind of way. Eugenia Charles wouldn't just sell passport like a mad woman, whether diplomatic or normal passports. This is what he finally came down to, Matt. That is not the idea. They have no ideas of their own. Mr. Skerrit have an entourage of people who voted for him. He cannot even organize these people to go on the farms. Go what's called NEP? Go there. I will subsidize you there. But not on the farm.
We'll continue to talk next week. The farmers are angry here. How do we get the young people back on the field? Maybe we'll ask that question next week.
Food security is man's first priority. For nothing is more important than feeding the people. And it's agriculture that makes